Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. I am sorry if you're one of my regular viewers. You'll notice the last few videos have been kind of going up a little later in the afternoon. It's just because my schedule is changed up, and Tracy's schedule has changed up a little, so I don't post in the morning now. I got to get to the point where I start programming it to post in the morning for me instead. My apologies. We are at review 280. Man, it's been one hell of a good ride so far. Canadian content time, City and Color, The Hurry and the Harm. Alright. Let me start with my biggest complaint about this album is the song titles. Oh my god. None of the songs on this album, except for maybe there's one, maybe two, that I would actually say the titles line up with what's being sung, where, you know, makes sense. And to me, that really kind of hurts this album, actually. Because when I want to go pull tracks off this album, I can never remember which tracks I got to pull, because I've never taken the time and effort, honestly, to learn all the song titles on this album for a couple of reasons. One, this one is one of those ones that when my 25 disc CD player was working, it was always in there, and I never looked at the albums to read all the stuff on the back. You know, I take a quick glance at it once or twice, but that's about it. And it's a horrible excuse, but it's the absolute truth. And then on just the last couple days going to and from work, I've had a going MP3 player on the MP3 player, and I've actually had to take the time and actually go look at the song titles to try and remember which songs it is. And even this morning, as I was doing, I'm like, why the hell does he do this? Now, I should mention, I've mentioned this before in other reviews, specifically my last City and Color review, that City and Color was actually the last, technically it's a person and it's a solo act, but the band playing live at the City of Windsor, in the City of Windsor's main venue, is actually the last band I saw prior to all the lockdowns in the world going crazy. It was quite the interesting thing, because I had gone from Iron Maiden to seeing Manson and Zombie together to City and Color. Man, in perspective, this was a really boring freaking concert. I love acoustic music. I always have. I've always gotten kind of pigeonholed. I definitely prefer my hard rock, heavy metal, you know. But I always kind of got pigeonholed in that category, that was like the only thing I listened to. And I used to listen to a lot of acoustic stuff, a lot of lighter stuff. Like, I've covered Krista Berg on here. One artist, sadly, I haven't covered because I lost all the CDs in the divorce, I think, was Jewel. And that's a shame, because I love Jewel, at least the first couple albums. So I really do love acoustic stuff, and this is a really awesome acoustic album. And the reason why I've prattled on so long about this already is this album opens up with this great tone that is, it sounds like the rotor speaker on a organ going, and like a small church organ, you know, the ones that, you know, grandma had in her basement or something like that, right? That all the kids like to pound on and make noise on. So it opens up with a drone like that, and you really think like it's gonna go into something heavy the way this is droning like that, and all of a sudden it just goes into, you know, strong acoustic strumming. And you get into The Hurry and the Harm, which is the opening, and it's a good tune. It's one of the two tunes that you could theoretically pick out the name of the song from. What song? maybe sung, sorry, a little bit. That goes into Harder Than Stone. And Harder Than Stone is really cool because it is musically. The Hurry and the Harm is kind of softer, a little more frolicky. And Harder Than Stone is a little more. One, a little more electric, a little less acoustic sounding. But the electric on it isn't. It's heavy for them, but not heavy. Like, there's a good heavy tone to it, but it's not heavy, you know? It's not. The best comparison I would have would be Queens of the Stone Age. I want to say Little Sister, something like that. But I want to say kind of Queens of the Stone Age when they're doing one of their middle ground kind of songs. But it's a great tune. It's a great second song. Keeps the album moving nicely. Keeps the flavor fresh. That goes into Of Space and Time. Same thing. Sounds changed up a little bit again. But at this point, I honestly kind of tune out a little bit. Just a little I start to tune out. And then you get to The Lonely Life. And this is another one where I'm still kind of in that slightly tuned out moment. It's not a bad tune. Neither of them are bad tunes. They're both really good songs. It's just, you're going back more to an acoustic kind of vibe, sort of. And they're not bad. It's just, for me, I tune out a bit. You know, it feels, even though each song has its own flavor, it's all flavor of chicken. You know. Then you get to Paradise. Paradise is the only song on here I would absolutely say was the name of a song, you know, titled by the words in the song. But even then, I still would have guessed the title would have been a little bit different. So, but this is also where the album actually starts getting really good for me. Paradise is where I really start listening on this album and really start enjoying this album. Then you get to Commentators. I never would have guessed this was the damn song by the name of it. And it's a good song. And it actually annoyed the hell out of me when I went, really? Really? I get it. I get it. But come on, man. Let's make this a little easier. Thirst. This one you could easily get from the lyrics, in theory as well, if you're paying attention to the lyrics. This one's got a vibe that I really kind of dig on a little bit. Next song is Two Coins. Two Coins is probably like one of the best songs on this album. And I have owned this album since like not long after it first came out. And what was that, 2013? So I bought this somewhere around 2013, 2014. Depending on when it came out within the year. And I did not, listening to this song and this album over and over again, I never, ever in a million years would have thought this was Two Coins. And it's one of the best songs on this album by far, but the song title completely throws me off. And it really, like, to the point where it's really, the song could have been bigger and huger, I think, if the damn tracks were, you know, a little better titled. That's followed up by Take Care, which, good tune, really good tune. Once again, I don't know why, but song and the, you know, this is, like I said, this is a constant complaint through the whole album. Ladies and Gentlemen is really good as well, but at this point in the album, I'm kind of like tuned out a bit again. Just because at this point in the album, there's nothing really kind of new. Then we get to The Golden State. And The Golden State I really dig because it is a song about California Obviously, if you know anything about the U.S. states, it's called the Golden State. But anyways, it's about California, but it's not a song praising California or singing of California. It's a song about being tired of it always being about California or always hearing about California, especially as someone from Toronto or the Toronto area, or, you know, who classifies themselves as being from an area kind of thing. You know, you just kind of get, even myself, when I played in when I was playing in my last band, former guitarist, he always was going on and on and on about California. It's like, why? It's a shithole. You know, like I just, you know, everybody romanticizes the golden age of Hollywood still, going right up into, like, say, the 80s kind of thing, forgetting about, you know, how sleazy it really got in the 70s and how that shit carried over forever. And, you know, anyways, so I really dig on Golden State for that reason. But I'll be honest, because it's one of the songs where I knew Golden State, you know, California Golden State, right? So the song title isn't really in there that much, but that one's a little easier to figure out. Because of that, that was one of the ones I had on my MP3 player a lot, so I don't listen to it as much anymore because I've kind of worn it out for myself. And then the album finishes off with Death Song. And Death Song is great. It is, alright, so if I had to pick 3 songs off this album, Death Song is probably, I think, the best song on this album. 2 Coins follows that up. And then Paradise would be third. Those would be my 3 picks for this album. And Death Song is so beautiful and just wonderful, and yet so bloody depressing at the exact same time. So bloody depressing at the exact same time. Because he's literally singing about his death song. And, you know, there's another one where you can guess the title by it. And the song always reminds me of the song Dewey Cox Died from the Dewey Cox Walk Hard movie. And I think in that movie, that soundtrack, you know, the death song at the end was just beautiful, and it closed out the whole movie in the most perfect way you could possibly close out that movie, I think. And the lyrics to it are so amazing if you actually pay attention. And this song, Death Song, is the exact same thing. If you actually listen to what he's saying, it's depressing in the fact that, you know, he's talking about his life being over, but he's not in any way trying to glorify himself or anything like that. You know, it's literally like, you know, my time is done, it's gone, and eventually I'll be forgotten, and I don't feel a need to leave, you know, something behind. You know, just, I don't have to. Now, that's easy to say when you're a musician, right? Oh, yeah, right? But he doesn't call his solo project after himself. He has fun with it and calls it City in Color. Dallas Green is why that's his name. But it's just, honestly, this is a wonderful album. You should check this album out. I highly suggest it. If you want something mellow and chill, this is something definitely great and mellow and chill. Just, you have to take the time and effort to actually get to know the album by reading it a little bit. Just a little. Alright, folks, those are my thoughts, my views, my opinions. Let me know what you think. That is what the comment section is for. There's a like button, a subscribe button, a notification button. If you could hit all 3 of those, that'd be great. This probably might be one of the last times I say this. There's a link below to Patreon. Don't know what's going to happen with them. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.